Real talk with verified wellness providers. The Wellness Connection.
Welcome to the Wellness Connection, Dr. Cam. We are so excited to have you.
Grateful to be here, my friend. Truly.
Yeah. So normally we have two co-hosts, but with the weather and ice emergencies and everything else, we totally understand that it's just you and me today.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
We're excited. We love this opportunity to get to know our new Arkansas wellness providers. And we're really excited that you decided to join us.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into wellness?
So, biggest thing, and I always like to state, my why. I, Dr. Cameron Daniels, stand for a world where I utilize my God-given authenticity, inspiration, and education to provide people the ability to live beyond expectations. Okay.
Oh,
One of
I
the ways
love
I
that.
do it is through this thing called upper cervical chiropractic. A lot of times when people hear upper cervical, they kind of weird it out. Upper cervical just means upper neck. Okay. Upper neck means that uh, you actually have this thing called the brainstem that's responsible for sending signals from the brain into the body. And the upper neck is responsible for kind of housing this area. So my particular specialty is in chiropractic neurology, where I focus on the restoration of neurological dysfunction in people, albeit migraines, vertigo, fibromyalgia, autoimmune conditions, and
Wow.
things of that nature. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that's wonderful. And a lot of people suffer from that. I teach a
Yeah.
TBI course and several of them have vertigo and it really is a disabling issue for them.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's one of those things too with vertigo. The reason why I like taking care of migraines and vertigo so much particularly is because when you're looking at vertigo or migraines, they're literally debilitating conditions, meaning that their entire world is altered,
Yeah.
right? And so when the entire world is altered, it's a lot easier for someone to realize, like, I'm not dizzy anymore versus when I was dizzy. So that's why I love taking care of them because, I just had a patient today come in for a consultation where he has to literally sit on the couch, because,
Oh,
he's so his vestibular centers are so kind of off kilter where he's retired too, and he wants to be able to live his life, but he
mm,
literally cannot because his world is spinning 24/7. And so it's
oh,
very debilitating, very debilitating.
very frustrating, emotionally, mentally, I would imagine that
Yeah,
that can really affect you as well.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got into wellness. Ironically enough, part of like that journey was not so linear. My mom was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 5. And when she was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was responsible, without going into too much detail, I was responsible for essentially taking care of my mother at 5 years old. We had help and
Wow.
stuff like that, but um, I was responsible for going to grab my mother medication, so I knew how to pop off those childproof medications at a very young age because my mom's hands, she was literally unable to do it. Her breast cancer got so bad, she had elephantitis really bad in her right arm.
Oh,
And
man.
so I was responsible for taking care of my mother. And so in taking care of my mother, I was constantly going back and forth, like giving her prescriptions and helping her out around the house. And Tanya, no joke. One thing she called me towards the end of her life, she ended up passing away when I was 10. One of the
Mm.
things that she called, or I shouldn't say one of the things, she used to call me Dr. Cam. No joke.
No,
Yeah, she used to call
because
me
you
Doctor
were taking care of her.
Exactly, exactly.
So
And
that's where
so
it comes from.
yeah, so she used to call me Dr. Cam, and I'll never forget when I first started practice, it was one of my first few patients. We were going up front and we were getting them scheduled, and they left and they were like, "Thank you, Dr. Cam," and then it hit. And I was
Oh,
like, "Wow." I was like, it comes full circle. That's my wellness journey, right? Where it's like it comes full circle where now, I'm being able to take care of people. And I have a couple cancer patients I take care of, not for cancer particularly. I need to make that very clear, but for the lasting neurological consequences that chemotherapy and stuff can do. It's crazy to be in a scenario where I get to do what I do, most of the days of the week, and taking people from this state of restoration. And it all started with me taking care of my sick mother when I was 5 years old, starting at 5 years old. Yeah,
wow, what a story.
yeah.
So it's funny because I kept hearing, "Oh, you need to talk to Dr. Cam, you need to link up with Dr. Cam," and I just assumed that was your last name. And so now
Right.
I understand. why Dr. Cam?
Yeah, and, go on record to say this was not forced. This was not forced at all. People literally, they just started calling me Dr. Cam. My full name is Dr. I even put it on here, when I signed in, Dr. Cameron Daniels. But yeah, people organically started calling me Dr. Cam. So it really helped anchor me into I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing, for
Oh,
sure,
I love that. What
for
a
sure.
yeah, what a great background little nugget for us. Thank
Yep.
you for sharing that. Yeah, so tell us more about specifically what you do and your practice and all of that.
Essentially, think of it this way: the nervous system is the filter of the entire body. We have a lot of parts doctors in the world. Okay, we have a lot of brain doctors, brain surgeons. We have a lot of knee doctors, foot doctors, heart doctors, lung doctors, internists. We have a whole slew of different professions in the medical model. The one part that we don't have, the one doctor that focuses on the overarching system, which is the entire central nervous system, and more importantly, the function of it, we don't have a lot of. That's exactly what I take care of. Okay, so what I do is I'm looking at the central nervous system and getting it back to a state of restoration. And I do that through, like I said, upper cervical chiropractic. The beauty of it is that the central nervous system is essentially the filter of the entire body. Every single day on this podcast, we tried to record it a couple weeks ago and then like nothing was working, right?
Right.
That's an emotional stress. You have physical stress like getting in a car accident or working out, that's a good stress, or all these different things. And then you also have chemical stress, right? This could be a toxin, this could be medications, this could be getting a flu, or I see a lot of COVID long haul patients who have had COVID, but the lasting consequences of COVID end up causing neurological conditions. All to say is that these three things, physical, chemical, and emotional stressors, are constantly being placed in our body every single day. Right now, you and me talking on this, right? I'm standing, looks like you're sitting down. So you have gravity acting on you sitting down at a different displacement of me while I'm standing up. This is a physical stressor that we have to work through. So our body has to filter these stressors out, physical, chemical, and emotional stressors on a day to day basis, including when we're asleep, right? What can happen is over time, when these stressors stack up, the nervous system can start to fail on itself. And when it starts to fail on itself, this is where we start to see an increase of symptoms. So, mainly when you look at migraines, fibromyalgia, autoimmune conditions, vertigo, all of these different conditions are what's called idiopathic. Now, all idiopathic means is that we have no idea where it comes from. That's a medical term, idiopathic. It means we have no idea where it comes from. What's very interesting is if you look at the research from these conditions that I take care of, the research points that we don't know where it's coming from, but I think JAMA, the Journal of American Medicine, JAMA describes fibromyalgia, just as an example, as a sensory disaugmentation of the central nervous system.
Wow.
So they have a clue that is kind of pointing in the right direction of the central nervous system. The problem is we don't know how to test for the central nervous system, or do we? We do, and that's exactly what I test for. It's called what I utilize is called computerized infrared thermography, CIT, and then what this does is it looks at the paraspinal blood flow to determine exactly where in the nervous system is it imbalance and how to best correct it. And then what I do is I get that back to a state of homeostasis. Because all symptoms are, people are very scared of symptoms. All symptoms are just an alarm for our body telling us that there's something going wrong, right? So if I slip and fall in an ice, we talked about, her mom slipped and fell in the ice. When you slip and fall on the ice and you hurt yourself, that physical stress of falling ended up causing pain in your arm, known as a symptom to tell you, hey, this fall ended up causing a lasting consequence. Well, it's the same thing when someone goes through divorce. It's the same thing when someone goes through abuse. It's the same thing when someone, has a history of, alcohol abuse or drug abuse. It's the same thing when our, bodies go through a car accident where all these stressors over time can end up causing the nervous system to kind of collapse on itself. And when it collapses on itself, it can produce what's called symptoms. And that's exactly what I do.
That is fascinating. When I picture a chiropractor,
Right.
I picture you
For
kind
sure.
of adjusting my spine,
Yep.
and doing that kind of thing. What you do is fascinating to me. I've actually had a personal experience with what you're talking about, specifically when I returned from Iraq. I kept going to the doctor. I kept telling them that there was something wrong with my neck, that I had like a pinched nerve or something like that. They kept telling me I didn't. They kept telling me it was a mental health
Right.
issue. And I was like, no, it's a physical health issue. And we went round and round, and they kept trying to convince me that it was PTSD.
Hmm.
And I was like, "I have a physical pain in my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's a nerve." And so they did an MRI, they did find some damage, but what was fascinating to me was that they were also right,
Hmm. Of
and that it was partly the PTSD, the anxiety, the
course.
depression was also compounding it, and when I finally agreed to take some medicine, poof, it went away.
Yeah.
I was floored. I had no idea. I argued with them for an entire year
Right.
and turned out they were right. So yeah, you're exactly right. There's so many different effects on the body that that contribute to, how we feel and how our body reacts. So wow,
A
that's
lot.
I never expected as a chiropractor that
Yeah.
that's exactly what you do.
Well, because the reason why is because chiropractic, because of TikTok and YouTube and Instagram, and where essentially there's a bunch of chiropractic. And I don't mean to get on a soapbox, but it does kind of frustrate me that my profession does this. But they find, you know, I'll just call it what it is. I'm a very open book. Um, they find an attractive woman in yoga pants and make that a thumbnail for their. I don't know if you've seen this, but it's very, very common, where they, find a woman in yoga pants and make this like the headline video strictly for clicks. And what people see is what people see this person get adjusted, and they see this person, get adjusted in the mid back, the low back, the neck, both sides. Blows my mind. The neck, the hands, the feet. And the reality is that this is a type of chiropractic, but this is not what chiropractic is. Okay. Chiropractic is an umbrella term. So if I were to tell you I'm a medical doctor, you would ask me, what kind of medical doctor are you?
Ah,
Are you a
yeah, good
neurologist, a
point.
nephrologist? Chiropractic is the exact same thing. The issue is because one of the chiropractors calls it crack addicts, because people like hearing the ASMR of popping the joints. The type of chiropractic that you're thinking of is one that's getting all the hype because
Mm,
that's the one that looks better on camera. And this stuff just, it seems that what I do is more philosophical than actually clinical. And it's actually the other way around, where what I do is actually like much more clinical. I don't really have a lot of time to hook a patient up and to have people listen to the popping and the cracking and stuff, because it's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at to restore the function, and that's not loud. That's not sexy on camera. Doesn't look
yeah,
good for YouTube. So chiropractic is an umbrella term, and then within that umbrella term of chiropractic, you have structural chiropractic and functional chiropractic. Okay, I am off the branch of functional chiropractic. And then within functional chiropractic, you have neurological chiropractic, which is a subspecialty of functional chiropractic. And that's where my specialty is. And this is not like this is not a sure number. Like there was no research done on it, but I can honestly say this. And it's anecdotal, but I can honestly say this. There's less than 1% of chiropractors that practice how we practice.
wow.
Because it's hard. It's very hard, because it's chronic conditions. So it's very, very hard, but also because it's not glamorous. Upper cervical chiropractors do a lot of quiet, hidden work that ends up over time making a loud noise in the community, but not globally, if that makes sense.
Yes, yes, it
So,
very much makes
so
sense.
yes, that's why people hear chiropractor, and of course, and 100%, I get it. But people hear chiropractor, and yeah, there is a reality in their heads of what chiropractic is, but that is just a slew or a portion of chiropractic that gets the most noise. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, that is fascinating. I'm so glad that you joined the Wellness Network so that you can help us understand
for sure.
and learn. And that's kind of part of what the Arkansas Wellness Network is for us to learn more about overall wellness. And yeah,
Right.
you just touched on things that I didn't even know existed in chiropractic work.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So tell people how they can get in touch with you or what you offer for them in the state of Arkansas.
So best way to get in contact with me is honestly I'm really trying to grow my YouTube channel. We have two different channels. We have the clinic channel. I'm trying to grow my personal channel. The personal channel is just you can look up Dr. Cameron Daniels or Dr. Cam Daniels, and that'll pop up. So on YouTube, Instagram, Cam the Chiro, or I have another one called Dr. Cam Daniels. That's like my personal one. Facebook, all of those. You can go to our clinic site, the specific littlerock.com, or you can actually go to my personal site. It's just www.drcamdaniels.com. And I have some good resources there. The last place you can find me is it's called Substack. I don't know if Tanya you've ever heard of this, but Substack is a beautiful community. It's like a blogging community. What I like to do is kind of post my reflections on there, kind of every single day, and do like long form content throughout the week. And that's where I'm putting out a lot of good, what I hope is good, nervous system tips for people to be able to sift through this loud noise that we have because we see on Instagram and TikTok and all these different platforms, there's a lot of different voices that seem to be saying the opposite things. And my recommendation for anyone is just to find that one voice or consistent voices and just listen to them because they'll get you to the right place. It's hard when you're just going back and forth. Just find a
Yeah.
consistent voices that are saying the same thing, listen to what they're doing, and then they'll lead you where you got to go. And so that's what I'm trying to do on my Substack.
That's awesome. And we hope that you'll contribute to the magazine that we have too.
Oh yeah.
And then we'll make sure that we link this podcast to your channels so that people can find you really easily. And then I know for sure that I have 2 referrals. As soon as we get off of here, I have two
Awesome.
referrals for you because I know 2 TBI
Oh
patients who are really, really struggling with their vertigo.
yeah. And I want to state something too before we head off here, and that what you're doing with the Arkansas Wellness Network is beyond incredible. Beyond
Thanks.
incredible. You are spearheading something that honestly Arkansas needs. You're spearheading an amazing directory. Not Arkansas just needs, but that also clinicians need because they kind of need to see that other things exist in their network.
Hmm.
For what it's worth, and I just want to make sure I say this publicly, for what it's worth, I am just through the short time that I've known you, I'm very, very proud of to see someone like you literally spearhead this and have
Oh,
really, to be very frank, no obligation to do so. And the fact that you're
thank
doing
you.
this and you're filling a huge gap is something that I am blessed to be a part of, and I mean that.
Well, I really appreciate that. That means a lot. And you've been with us from the beginning,
Mhm.
helping make the decisions and helping guide us along. And we really appreciate your leadership in that as well. And I think, if I remember correctly from our discussions, you're going to kind of join us as a co host on the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yep.
we're really excited about that. And we're looking forward to us growing. It's only been a month, but I
Yeah, I
feel like
know.
we're on the right directory or
Oh,
directory,
for sure.
trajectory.
Yeah. Directory and trajectory, all the things. We are.
We
We're
got
on
it
it.
all together. All right. Well, anything else you want to share with Arkansas?
Like again, the last thing I want to share, and it's mainly because a lot of people that I take care of are so I tell people they need two things to be able to work with me. A, to show up to the appointments, and B, to trust me, and the trust is going to be built. The reason why the trust is fragmented when people come in here is because there's been too many different voices telling them different things. I don't care if you listen to me. I don't care if you listen to your medical doctor. I don't care if you are taking all the medications. I don't care if you want to get off your medications. Find one voice. It's literally one band, one sound. Find one voice or voices that are saying the same thing. And this is what you're doing with the Arkansas Wellness Network, and listen to what they say, not multiple different people saying different things. Just find one person and listen to them. And I promise you, I don't care if you're working with me, I don't care if you're working with whoever else, just
Mhm.
listen to them. Trust them, and they'll, God willing, they will get you to where you need to go. So that's what I want to share with Arkansas. One person.
I'm really
One person.
glad that you did. And that is kind of one of the kind of premise that we are going on is that I learned early when I was studying that one of the biggest and most important factors that you can have as a wellness provider is the know, like, trust factor.
Right.
People get to know you. They like you for whatever reason, they feel connected, and then they become to trust you. And as
Right.
a wellness provider, nothing is more important. And that is kind of the basis for our Arkansas Wellness Network. We require a background check. We
Right.
make
Sure.
sure that you are truly a wellness provider, not
Right.
just saying that you are and you really just sell a product.
Right.
Um, so we really are trying to make sure that we bring in vetted professionals in the area and that you can feel comfortable going to them. And then we want to give the providers that opportunity to get known, to
Right.
to feel trusted. And that's kind of what we're trying to do with this podcast, with the Facebook group, with the monthly magazine. We're going to have a blog as well
Yeah.
that we'd love for you and all the other providers to contribute to. And that is exactly what you're talking about. You want to get to know the person. You have to feel some kind of connection.
Yeah.
And then you're going to eventually trust that person. And that is so important in your wellness journey. You have to trust your provider. And so I'm really glad that you brought that up. That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
No,
and
thank
we
you.
look forward to having you again in the future as one of the co-hosts.
Hmm.
And we will see you all next time on the Wellness Connection, where you get to meet your providers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Dr. Cam. Thanks so much.
The Arkansas Wellness Network and the Wellness Connection are an initiative of reinventing ourselves, a 501c3 nonprofit promoting health, happiness, and hope.